There's a way to dress where you either bring an attention to her
It is
or
Fox.
a deterrent. Yeah. We said it's Fox,
It
right?
is Fox.
Yeah. It is Fox, where we know the girls to be attractive, to be pretty, and things of that nature. So they're going to use a pretty girl with a nice body to get you to stay on the channel, to not turn it to ESPN. But she falls into that.
Perfect.
But we're gonna move on right now with the Perfect Talk podcast. Move on to my favorite part of the show, and it's called Have You Heard? I hear headlines in the news. I bring them to the table to see if my folks at the Perfect Talk podcast has heard. Man, FS1 seem to be going through a lot of stuff over there, bro. New lawsuit came up this week from a hairstylist, where she had named people such as Joy Taylor, Skip Bayless, and a Fox executive, among others, in her lawsuit. This lawsuit was really weird because obviously the Skip Bayless one I think was a really big thing, but she has accused Skip Bayless of making inappropriate advances towards her and offering her $1.5 million in exchange for sex. She also alleges that Charlie Dixon groped her during a party and that Joy Taylor created a hostile work environment. It was really weird. Well, let's start with the $1.5 million. Let's start. I don't know why, but that is the least believable part of this story for some reason. Because the number is so weird. Where do you come up with 1.5? Like, Skip is just going to throw that out as an offer, 1.5?
I mean, Skip does have money.
And then the other unbelievable part, people are like, and then you turned it down?
Yeah, I mean, that's my thought. You turned that shit down. Hey, I mean, kudos to you, baby girl. Like, you have, I mean, because I feel like most women would have took that. Maybe she was married or maybe in a relationship. I don't know, but hey.
I think she said she needed the money, honestly. But she was like, I wasn't gonna do it for that. Other things came out in this lawsuit. I think they said that Skip had got jealous because he thought that she was messing with Shannon Sharp at one point in time, and that's actually what might have caused their rift. She alleged that Joy Taylor, one, was create a hostile work environment towards her, but she also decided to air out a bunch of Joy Taylor's dirty laundry, claiming that she had a sexual affair with the previously named Charlie Dixon, that's the executive over at Fox Sports, and fellow Fox Sports host Emmanuel Ocho to move up the company and receive promotions that she otherwise wouldn't. There's also a part in there where she says that if things were to go left while sleeping with Emmanuel Ocho and Charlie Dixon, she would just say that Charlie Dixon forced himself upon her. So this hairstylist is basically trying to burn the whole building down. Yeah. But the bigger thing that I noticed more about it was I had a feeling, it didn't necessarily surprise me, but I did not know that there was so much disdain for Joy Taylor in the sports world. I guess and it's the male world, because so many dudes felt very like, oh yeah, this is the time to like let's pile on to Joy Taylor. Or
so like people, I haven't been following it like that, but like a lot of dudes are coming out saying,
a lot of dudes, bro, even
just like saying what about her? I mean,
well, I knew she shouldn't have had that position because her opinions don't make sense, or that I knew she was unqualified to be in that role. One dude, I think that's how I had brought up in the group chat. Like, I didn't know she was Jason Taylor's sister, but one dude, he went on, and this was an old clip. This didn't just come up with this stuff that just popped out. But he's like talking about Joy Taylor for like a good minute and a half about like, why is she on there telling professional players what she should do when she's never put on a helmet, she's never strapped up, and how could she say what should be done and what can't be done? And I'm like, well, there's a lot of old white men who talk about basketball, you know what I mean? But then he ends it. He's like, well, her only qualification is she's Jason Taylor's sister. And I'm just like, oh, well, yeah. Now, it doesn't surprise me. The reason I think I wasn't so surprised by the backlash of just like, I woke up that morning and just see her trending. And then people like making all types of wild comments about her. The reason it didn't surprise me is because the one thing you see if you see clips of Joy Taylor is her breasts are out, for lack of a better term, right? Then I don't know if out is the wrong term. They're not like modestly covered. She has big breasts, and she like a lot of women do. But there's a way to dress where you either bring an attention to her,
it is
or
Fox.
a deterrent. Yeah. We said it's Fox, right?
It's Fox.
Yeah, it is Fox, where we know the girls to be attractive, to be pretty, and things of that nature. So they're going to use a pretty girl with a nice body to get you to stay on the channel, to not turn it to ESPN. And she falls into that thing. But I think she does a little bit more than others. Or maybe it's just done a little bit, like, less modest than others.
I think it's Fox.
Yeah. So someone is going to want to be like, well, look at this day when you were working with Keyshawn and, who's your work? Paul Pierce? With Keyshawn and Paul Pierce, and you just had your titties on display, or, you know what I mean? Or you decided that your shirt was going to be extra low cut. I think that's an unfair thing to do, but I also know that sometimes that can work to a woman's advantage, or sometimes
it's also about the TV. I mean, dudes will tune in just for that. Like, and so it's all about ratings at the end of the day. Like,
that's not unique to Joy Taylor. Whether
right, that's what I'm saying. I mean, so this isn't nothing new. And so, like, when I hear a lot of dudes giving backlash, it's surprising just from the standpoint that no matter where you look, I mean, this is what we see in society. I mean, you want a pretty girl on the TV, preferably with a nice body. You know, it's about ratings. So what are you going to do to keep people tuned in? I mean, it's not surprising. Like, I feel like there do be some chicks on TV that are super knowledgeable about the sports and all of that they're speaking of. But I feel like historically, that's not necessarily the qualifying piece that you know all this stuff about sports.
Yeah.
It's more so you look good and can you just like moderate, like type of deal.
And probably less about the moderation than it does about the looking good. Yeah, exactly. I hate that we're in this society, and I think it's going to get amplified a lot because of the incoming president, but just where it's like, the audience, the problem is caused by the situation. Whereas it's a male audience, I'm going to look at a commercial if you put an attractive girl on it, whether I care about the product or not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, we know this about men, but then when a woman does certain things, to weaponize that against her and be like, I knew that was the really reason.
Right. That's like, where it doesn't make sense to me.
It's like, all right, well, how is she supposed to get ahead in the company? You know what I mean? Now, is she sleeping with execs? Look,
that's a fucking business, man. Like, God, like I get, it's unfair. I mean, the world is unfair.
Yeah, but people have sex with people that they work with. Like, if
that's like in the workplace, that's a common thing. Yeah. And so, what are we talking about here? There's nothing. This didn't just start happening. People having sex with the boss, like. Come on now.
To the point where I was like, why is this even in the lawsuit? I didn't get why that was even being brought up. But I guess there was a point where she had come to Joy Taylor about the Skip Bayless thing, and Joy was like, I would be quiet about it. That's the culture here. So to paint more of a picture of what the culture was there, I'm assuming.
But also look at the times that we're in. These are things that shouldn't be happening in the workplace because it creates an unfair work environment, hostile work, all of these things. So it's just it's part of Me Too.
Yeah.
Shit.
No, it's a real catch-22 because I've dated coworkers. You know what I'm saying? I think the bigger issue, and also I'm raising a daughter, you know what I mean? I would not want my daughter to get ahead in life by sleeping with people in the company. So as I would teach her that. But also, I'm not going to throw stones at Joy Taylor
for doing it.
Because I'm like, that's
her business.
Exactly. Because that could have easily went left on her. That could have ruined her career. If she's getting ahead doing that, then... Look, I'm sure there's other ways she could have done it. I'm not telling girls to follow that path, but I'm not going to say and throw a stone at her and be like, because if you told me that Keyshawn Johnson was messing with a female coworker, I'm not going to get him off the channel.
Right. If you told me
he got that job. Like,
the boss is a female, or Keyshawn slept with the boss.
It's the double standard when it's like a teacher molest a child, but if it's a male teacher and a female, you're like, this is crazy. But if it's a young man and a female teacher, you kind of want to give high five. That's just culture, right? Like, we don't.
That's culture. It's wrong. It's wrong. But it's certainly wrong. As an adult, I will say, I mean, that's just wrong. Either wrong. Way. Yeah. But you know how that go. And you high five the dude and you shame the girl.
Yeah, they were like, I heard a joke one time. It was like, like if a boy is molested by his teacher or something like that, like the worst pain he feels is like too much high fiving.
My hand hurts.
No, but I mean, and we laugh as a joke, but that is the society.
That's how it is. Yeah.
And it does suck, man. Something weird that Emmanuel Oucho did was he removed a bunch of clips where he was giving props to Joy Taylor, which is like, why would that's the wildest move to make in this.
His people probably told him to do that. Just right, like no ties, because we gonna come out with a different. We don't even talk to you.
But you know what? I think that's funny. They're like, yo, no one's looking. Take it down now. And there's like people notice. People took screenshots already of what you did. Where they'll just come out with that, man. It's just everything is just like
can't erase nothing off the internet,
really
people.
You really cannot, man. But I think it's just one of the same things. We saw it in the election. You see it now. Oh, another thing that they're doing with Joy Taylor, they're bringing up clips about her where I think there's one where she's like, you'll smash someone based off of
oh yeah, I did see that.
What'd she say? You're throwing out all the boundaries. Can we keep it a buck? If they're fine enough, if they're funny enough, or if their financial status is what you want. Fine, funny, fucking money. You're throwing all the boundaries, standards, all that shit you talk on Instagram about how you would never, and this woman this woman that, men this. You're moving forward with this person.
That is real talk. That's real talk.
That is real talk. That is real talk. And something that we're here in front of a microphone and cameras too. You can take a clip of us and try to paint a picture of us. Being honest in the moment and try to paint a picture of us in any way. So I'm not going to try to
But what picture are we painting with that statement? I mean,
about Joy Taylor?
Yeah, I mean, she's just at for the right price or for the right person, for the right this. You may be, as a person, may be willing to put certain morals aside. We all do that in some way, shape, or form.
No, but what they're trying to do, she might not even be talking about herself. She's talking about society,
right?
Oh,
okay, yeah.
But they're going to paint that as, oh, yeah,
this is you.
You definitely were fucking your exec if you were going to say something, which is not, I don't see the correlation. Like, she's on a podcast where you're talking about different people's situations. And there was probably something going on at the time.
Right. We don't have much context.
Also, a lot of these females that work in the sports industry, when certain athletes, we'll take a Deshaun Watson for the guy from, he was on the Texans and he had the massage therapist. I'm not saying that this was a scenario, but I'm just using an example. When something like that will happen, they'll tweet certain comments or they'll post certain things like saying, this is wrong, this is how they feel. But then they feel like they want to use that against them when now she's in a scandal. Like, oh, look at your old tweets against certain athletes and the stuff that they do. And I'm like, once again, false equivalency here. Like, she could have felt the way she felt and still been doing what she's doing. If they're doing something criminal compared to what she's doing, is she not allowed to have an opinion? You know what I mean? But I know the world that we live in. There's a lot of people out there who are incels or who are mad about women in some way, shape, or form, and they just want something. They just want a reason to dislike women. You know what I mean? And yeah, I don't know. I was never mad about the presence of a pretty woman on a sports show. Like, if anything, you're gonna keep me watching.
Right.
I don't know why that offends a lot of so many other people out there, but it does. Some weird shit. So.
Because she didn't get it based on her qualifications. Qualifications mean more than book smarts. Qualifications may mean big titties, big ass, pretty face. Those are also qualifications, people.
You rather look at Warren Sapp or Joy Taylor?
Exactly.
I'd rather look at Joy Taylor. It's your man DJ Playboy Inspect in the building, and we want to thank y'all for checking out this short clip of the Perfect Talk podcast.
Make sure y'all smash that like button, hit subscribe, leave your comments, people. We want to know what you're thinking.
Of course, man. We're going to keep bringing these short clips to you. Go check out the full episodes right there.
Yes, sir.
Peace.